Yo, what you lot saying? It's your boy here. Today what I've got for you is the Hungarian Grand Prix review for you guys. Now before I start this video, if you did not know or you did not watch my update, go watch that real quick. It will explain most of the things that's going to be coming up in the future of YouTube on my channel, so yeah. But if you haven't, I'll make this short and sweet. I will be taking a break a few weeks. Because I'm going to Italy in a few weeks time, so yeah, I should be back when I get back, so that'll be for the Belgian Grand Prix weekend, so yeah. Also as well too, the Jules Bianchi tribute montage, now that's coming out tonight. It'll be coming out a few hours after this, so yeah, if you are watching this right now, it will come out in a few hours, so yeah. Be sure to check that out. I'll put a lot of effort into this, so yeah. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get right into this review. And we'll start off really in practice, to be honest. And that is basically Sergio Perez. Well, actually before the weekend, because basically you'll see this on my montage. They had this like little funeral going on, and everyone was like all, you know, paying their respects to Jules Bianchi because, if you don't know, Jules Bianchi died last week due to massive injuries following the Suzuka crash last year. So yeah, basically there was a funeral going on the week of that event, and many people mourning and grieving on Jules Bianchi there. So yeah. Many people making their respects as well for Jules Bianchi as well, so yeah. So yeah, there was a very eerie and sad feeling going into this weekend, so yeah. And a lot of cars with the Jules Bianchi messages, and all the helmets as well too with the Jules Bianchi messages as well, so yeah. But at practice we saw a violent incident, and that was for Sergio Perez. Basically what happened was he broke the suspension as he was coming out of that far section before the hairpin. Coming out of that far section, hit the Astro. I think the suspension let go as soon as he was on that Astro, and yeah, basically went straight into the wall. The car flew upside down. It was a very violent incident, but thankfully he was okay, so that was good to see. But yeah, not a start that Force India would want to have, so yeah, unfortunate for them. But moving on into qualifying afterwards, it was just nothing really much going on. Oh, by the way, Ricardo in P2 had problems with his engine. So yeah, so that was unfortunate for him. I think after this weekend he'll have to get he'll have to get grid penalties now. So yeah, since he's used up a lot this season. So yeah. So moving on into qualifying. Qualifying got his way in the usual fashion. Nothing much really happening. Hamilton dominating this weekend. He's been really dominating this weekend, beating Nico Rosberg, who's been suffering from a lot of balance issues. So yeah, so as a result, Hamilton lighting up those timing sheets. But in the end, we saw a surprise. Jenson Button, the man that we all thought would get into Q3 quite nicely, was out of Q1 unfortunately. Due to problems with his ERS. So yeah, he basically on the last run had an issue with ERS, and basically he was out of Q1. Unfortunate for him, as he looks like he would easily get into Q2. I mean, all the difference was a tenth. So yeah, I mean, had the ERS problem not happened, he would have easily got into Q2. So that tenth cost him dearly there. So yeah. But then moving into Q2, all the cars got out safely, and as most of the drivers were going on to do their flying laps, Fernando Alonso, another McLaren driver, his car broke down just on the entrance pit lane. Fernando doing the sort of Nigel Mansell in 84 at Dallas, sort of pushing, and also the 64 I believe at Sebring with Jack Brabham, pushing the car to the pit lane. He did manage to do it, but unfortunately he was unable to continue because the rule said you can rejoin the session if your car's past one of the lines in the pit lane. So yeah, he did not do it, so yeah, he was absolutely qualifying. Unfortunate for him, so we'd be starting in 15th place for him, so really unfortunate for McLaren Hondas. They were expecting themselves to be in Q2, maybe in Q3 as a surprise, but unfortunately that didn't happen, so yeah, unlucky for them. But moving into Q3, not much. We saw Hamilton really pretty much take pole position, to be honest. I mean, he was the class of the weekend, to be honest. You know, completely out of front. No problems, no dramas whatsoever for Lewis. So yeah, as a result, he took pole position. Second was Nico Rosberg. I really thought he was gonna get pressured and maybe even would lose the place to the Red Bulls, because the Red Bulls are coming out really strong this weekend, especially in P2 as they finished in second and third. So I was reckoning the Red Bulls were going to be a force to be reckoned with, but no, Daniel Ricciardo 4th and Danny Kvyat 7th. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but a good result nonetheless. They'll probably take that. Yeah, the Ferraris third and fifth. Yeah, Vettel third, Raikkonen fifth. So good result by them. I think a bit more for Vettel, and I think we would have been ahead of Rosberg to take that front row. So yeah, but third will do for him. So yeah, moving on into the race. It was a very, very good start for the Mercedes, but the Ferraris mugging the Mercedes off the line. As a result, they put themselves 1 and 2 coming out of turn 2 there. So great start for the two Ferraris there, kind of like the Williamses at Silverstone last time out. So yeah. As a result, Hamilton from pole position dropped to 4th as Nico Rosberg, as both Ferraris and Nico Rosberg got ahead of Lewis Hamilton to drop him down to 4th. And then as the lap went on, always well to Daniel Ricciardo make contact with Valtteri Bottas coming out of turn 1. He basically was trying to make it work down the outside, but basically Bottas squeezed him so much that Ricciardo flew up in the air. I was very, very surprised that Ricciardo didn't get any suspension damage due to that. So yeah, very, very lucky for Ricciardo there. But yeah, later on, we saw Hamilton getting a little bit desperate and a little bit too much as he ran wide. He broke too late, ran wide, went onto the gravel trap, and as a result dropped to 10th place. So yeah, really his day going from bad to worse there. He dropped to 4th, now dropped to 10th. So yeah, his day going from bad to worse. But out in front, Vettel led from Raikkonen behind and Rosberg in 3rd. And then after Ricciardo in 4th and Hülkenberg in 5th. He started 11th and he moved up in 5th after the first lap. A great start from Hülkenberg there. And then later on we saw some bit of action going on. Hamilton moving his way up the field. He moved his way up the field up to 4th at best, so yeah. We also saw some dramas going on in the midfield, particularly with the likes of Maldonado and Perez. Really, Maldonado was getting himself into a lot of trouble, and you'll see why. Because basically, Maldonado, basically Perez, I think went to the outside of the lead. He went to the outside, and basically they were side by side coming out of turn 1, and Maldonado just squeezed Perez to a point that they connected, and Perez spun coming out of turn 1 on the runoff area of turn 1, and basically dropped a lot of positions. I was very, very surprised that also he didn't lose it and he didn't get suspension damage. So yeah, very lucky for Perez there. Yeah, he was able to continue. And yeah, as a result, Maldonado got a penalty for that incident. He also got a penalty for a lot of safety car incidents. I think he also got, no, he didn't get a penalty for that. Grosjean got a penalty for pit lane sort of violations and all that kind of stuff. He was being very, very dangerous in the pit lane. He almost hit the Sauber driver as he was battling with Massa. By the way, Massa had a 5-second penalty for missing his for just missing his grid spot. So yeah, as a result, there was an aborted start. I forgot to mention there was an aborted start, and yeah, as a result, Massa got penalty for that. So yeah, and yeah, like I said, Gross got a penalty as well for being dangerous in the pit lane there, going side by side with Massa there. So yeah, like I said, Maldonado got a penalty for that little incident there. He also got a penalty for a couple of safety car violations as well, speeding in the pit lane, all those kind of stuff. So really, it was a tough weekend for Maldonado. He could not do anything right. So yeah. And then later on, we had some dramas, and that was for Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi Räikkönen had MGUK issues. So basically, he was losing a lot. He was losing a lot of power with his Ferrari motor, and as a result, lost a heck of a lot of time to Sebastian Vettel there. And then later on, we saw Hulkenberg. His front wing basically, front wing detached from the car. Basically, the car went straight into the wall, and basically, as a result, we had a virtual safety car, but only for a little bit, just like we had in Monaco, just for a little bit. And then afterwards, we had the real safety car come on the track. And that really didn't do Ferrari that good because of Kimi's MGUK problem. So yeah, that put him in a really bad situation for him there. Also for Vettel as well, because he could be mounted on the restart. So yeah. And yeah, basically the safety cars came out, and as a result, the safety car went through the pit lane because of the debris on the track, on the racing line. The safety car had to go through the pit lane so that the marshals can clear up all of the mess. It only went through the pits a number of times, so that was good to see. And then a few laps later, the safety car came back into the pits and we were racing once again. Ricciardo getting a great run on Lewis Hamilton going down the straight. Hamilton defending down the inside, Ricciardo trying to make it work around the outside, and they both make contact. Lewis Hamilton and Daniel was ahead. Sorry, Daniel went round the outside, made it work, and was ahead of Hamilton. But basically, Hamilton went into the side of Ricciardo's car, and basically front wing was scattered all over the track, and as a result, Hamilton lost a little bit of front wing. So yeah, as a result, lost a lot of time and had to go straight to the pits to change his front wing. So yeah, and then also as well got a drive-through penalty for that collision as well. So yeah, and I think honestly, Hamilton just being way too desperate there. I think he should have allowed Ricciardo through, to be honest, because you know Ricciardo was on the better tyre. You know, he had more pace. He could even do damage to the front three, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, you should have just let him go and fought for another day, to be honest. You know, I mean, why would you just go? Why would you do something? Why would you just be desperate and do something like that? You know, I mean, you could just back off and live to fight another day. So yeah, a bit clumsy by Lewis there, and also as well, Daniel Kvyat had a bit of trouble as well with Lewis Hamilton as he went off the road and passed Lewis Hamilton, which gave Kvyat a 10-second penalty as a result. I'll talk more about that later on. Also as well, we saw an incident between Valtteri Bottas and Verstappen behind Lewis and Kvyat as they both went back onto the track. They were all ganging up, they were all stacked up behind them two, and as a result, Verstappen accidentally clipped Bottas' rear right, which gave him a penalty, which gave Bottas a puncture as a result. Unfortunate for Bottas because he'd been running so strong in the points, and for that to happen is really a shame for him. So yeah, and then later on we saw Ricciardo closing up on Rosberg so much. And as a result, Ricciardo made a dive down the inside. He locked up his brakes, ran too deep, and basically Rosberg went to take the racing line. And as he was doing that, he clipped the front wing of Ricciardo's car. And as a result, Rosberg had a puncture and basically dropped right down, almost out of the points. So yeah, As Hamilton's race seemed like it was going away from him, his championship looking like it was going away from him, his luck came back to him to a degree that his teammate had a puncture. So yeah, very unfortunate for Rosberg. You know, very had a great chance of winning the race and really taking the lead of the World Drivers' Championship going into the summer break, but that little incident cost him. And what do I think? I think basically it was a racing incident, to be honest. I mean, Ricciardo. I think honestly, Ricciardo. I don't blame Ricciardo doing that dive, to be honest, because there was a few laps to go. He wanted to get the race win. He was trying his absolute hardest to win this race. Sometimes in racing, you do those kind of things like that to try and see if it will help. But sadly, those kind of moves didn't help for him, and yeah, as a result, Ricciardo and Rosberg came off the worst and lost a huge amount of time. Well, actually, Rosberg came off the worst if you dropped down to 10th. So yeah. But yeah, Ricciardo had front wing damage here. He came to the pits, but thankfully came out in 3rd place. So yeah. And then yeah, later on we saw Hamilton from that front wing damage and from the penalty as well. He came back from 12th to 6th, so good drive by him there, good recovery by Lewis Hamilton there in the closing stages of the race there. And then and as a result we saw Kvyat in 2nd place, even with that penalty, was in 2nd place. A fantastic drive by him, you know. To get himself out of trouble and to put himself in 2nd. Yes, he got a penalty, but you know, to end up finishing 2nd, that's a pretty good job by him. That's a pretty good job. Yeah, he finished 2nd, his first podium actually. Great result by him, 2nd place. I mean, exactly what the team needed, to be honest, especially with the season they're having, to be honest. So yeah, Ricciardo came in 3rd. Good result by him. After that little bit of incident, after that action-packed incident with Ricciardo, come home in 3rd. Good result. Not gonna lie, he did have a good race. He did have a really well-deserved race. 2 Red Bulls on the podium. Good result by them. You know exactly what they needed, to be honest. The team Mercedes 6th and 8th. Yeah, Rosberg. Yeah, Rosberg finished 8th. He passed a few guards to finish 8th, so yeah, fortunate for him. Just one of those things, you know, that's life, you know, sometimes you trip, sometimes you don't trip, so yeah, that's just racing, so yeah. But in the end, a very, very good win by Sebastian Vettel, taking his Ferrari to victory lane. A very, very good win by Sebastian Vettel. Completely controlled the race, was able to soak up the pressure that Rosberg was giving to him, and yeah, as a result, took the win from, yes, apologies for that. Yeah, basically a great win by Sebastian Vettel, a great tribute to Jules Bianchi, to be honest. I mean, this is exactly what, I think this is the perfect tribute to Jules Bianchi, a Ferrari win, because basically Jules Bianchi was a Ferrari driver, academy driver, so for Ferrari to win, that's awesome. That is the most heartwarming race wins I've ever seen in my life. That was the most action-packed, the most wall-to-wall race I've ever seen in my life. A very, very good race. I think something that will please the fans, because in the previous years we've had, in the previous races we've had very boring races to most fans. You know, for me, I don't think it's boring. I think it's all right, to be fair. So yeah. But to have that kind of race will really treat the fans who've been very hypocritical to this sport in recent times. So yeah. Overall, a very, very good race and a very, very good tribute to Jules Bianchi, who will be thoroughly missed. So yeah. And yeah, like I said, the tribute montage will come out in a few hours after. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And yeah, that is about it. So I'll see you guys next time. It's your boy, Jabba Boy. I am out. Peace.